24/7 crisis intervention service. Pending clients of OUSAP will also be referred to counseling and psychological services. Athens is now gearing up to begin its annual budgeting process. Athens City Auditor Kathy Heck presented the plan to Athens City Council Monday. Heck says the city's general fund money is up, as well as income tax revenue. The city is expected to carry over about $2 million from this year into next year. That's up $0.2 million from last year. Athens City Council must approve the 2016 budget before the end of this year. The Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure Columbus will make its way to Athens this Sunday. The race will celebrate the lives of breast cancer survivors and remember those who have lost their battle to the disease. WOUB got to speak with Komen Columbus Director of Missions, Julie McMahon, who hopes the race will help educate those attending.
There's an educational and awareness component in that we will have a lot of our current community partners who are offering services to the community present. We'll also have some information to share with people about what they can do for their own breast health and where to go for help. That will all be at our expo at the Peden Stadium parking lot from 10 to 2. And we'll also have goodies and fun things available and music and really be, like I said, having a celebration.
And registration will be available on race day at Walter Fieldhouse from 10 to 12. The actual race will start at 12.
And great evening, everyone. I'm Jeremy Ludeman from the Newswatch Weather Center. Boy, oh boy, another fantastic day again in southeastern Ohio, western West Virginia, and northeastern Kentucky. We saw tremendous sunshine throughout the region. We have some clouds moving in now as apropos as we're going into evening. The sun will actually set while we're having this newscast here. 74 our high today, 34 was our low, and we had a normal of 65 and 43 for this time of year. So again, warmer than average. As we take a look at the current weatherscape across the country, you see a lot of rain around the American Southwest right now, stretching from Amarillo towards Alamogordo and up towards the north, the Four Corners area getting a lot of rain. And you see this cold front, it's right over the heart of the Midwest right now, and that's going to be moving towards the Ohio Valley over the next 48 hours and overnight. As you see, continued rain there in that region. The Southwest, the front continues to approach, and we'll have more about the weekend forecast as well as what we can look forward to our next 7 days. It's all coming up in just a moment, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Jeremy. And President Obama is in West Virginia this afternoon to discuss drug abuse. Obama is addressing a community forum in Charleston, an area hit hard by drug addiction and overdose deaths. He's announcing new steps to address drug abuse nationwide. Before departing, Obama issued a memorandum calling for improved access to treatment for prescription drug and heroin abuse. He also called for improved training for those who prescribe legal painkillers. And here are the numbers that show just how bad the drug epidemic is. Kanawha County is on track to record the most heroin overdose deaths in a single year. Through July, the county had matched the number of heroin-related overdose deaths that occurred all of last year. Of the 62 OD deaths to date, 22 involve heroin. Last year, the county recorded 85 total overdoses. 22 were heroin-related, making it the highest total in a single year since 2008. West Virginia's Republican Attorney General is criticizing President Barack Obama for what he calls the Democrats' assault on the state's struggling coal industry. Attorney General Patrick Morrisey scolded the president ahead of his visit to Charleston today. The Obama administration has pushed environmental regulations aimed at coal-fired plants to reduce emissions, contributing to climate change. In a statement, Morrisey calls those policies an illegal, unprecedented regulatory assault on the coal industry. An Ohio bill that will end more than $1 million in federal funding from Planned Parenthood will appear before the Senate today. The proposal passed the state's Government and Oversight Committee on Wednesday. Anti-abortion activists released a video showing Planned Parenthood employees describing how they provide fetal tissue from abortions for medical research. Planned Parenthood argues the videos are edited and misleading. We will update the Senate decision as the story develops. And you might be able to boat on Buckeye Lake next summer. Officials planning a new dam at the Central Ohio's lake say the construction schedule might let boating return next summer, depending on the weather. The Department of Natural Resources say the plan is to build a flat strip of land between the existing dam and the water by June. An advisory meeting board suggested an aggressive construction schedule of working 20 hours each day and 6 days a week because of how loud the work will be. In Kentucky, there is no word on a police officer's condition after he was shot responding to a home. Authorities say deputies were called to the scene in Prestonburg late Tuesday night. Shots were fired and the officer was hit in the chest. The officer was airlifted to the hospital. The suspect gunman barricaded himself inside the home. Both Joe Biden and Paul Ryan make announcements today that could turn Washington on its side, and John McCain is weighing in on Benghazi. Plus, some teachers on strike are taking matters into their own hands. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
I decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
And it's a surprising week in Washington with two leaders announcing decisions that could reshape the political landscape. Vice President Joe Biden said he is not going to seek the Democratic nomination for president. On Capitol Hill, Representative Paul Ryan announced he is willing to run in next week's election to select the new House Speaker. Polo Sandoval reports on the latest developments in the nation's capital.
Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination.
The vice president took to the White House Rose Garden, sharing what was perhaps the most awaited decision in Washington. The window for a Biden bid for president has closed. Flanked by his wife and President Obama, Vice President Biden promised he won't stay silent leading up to next year's presidential election.
We intend to spend the next 15 months fighting for what we've always cared about. I am absolutely certain we are fully capable of accomplishing extraordinary things.
The vice president's decision not to run is only the latest highly anticipated announcement out of Washington this week. Outgoing House Speaker John Boehner scheduled to vote next week to elect a successor, ending weeks of leadership limbo on Capitol Hill.
The conference election for Speaker will be next Wednesday, and the 28th, and on Thursday, the 29th, the election will occur on the floor.
Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan finally agreed to run as long as some conditions are met, including full support from his party and a schedule that doesn't interfere with his family time.
I have left this decision in their hands, and should they agree with these requests, then I am happy and I am willing to get to work.
These key decisions from both Biden and Ryan could provide some stability in a political season that's already proven to be full of surprises. Reporting in Washington, I'm Polo Sandoval.
Thanks, Paulo. As Hillary Clinton prepares to testify before the Select Committee on Benghazi tomorrow, questions continue to grow as to whether the GOP-led panel is politically motivated or truly investigating what happened on September 11, 2012. On that day, U.S. Ambassador to Libya, Chris Stevens, and 3 others were killed in an attack on the U.S. consulate in the Libyan city. Speaking to CNN, Republican Senator John McCain says he believes the panel is looking for answers and wants to know whether the State Department dropped the ball on security.
Secretary Clinton told the families when the bodies came back that she would get the people who made the, quote, hateful video. There's a lot of questions that are still unanswered.
Critics say the Benghazi committee is nothing more than a ploy to harm Clinton's presidential aspirations. Committee members say the panel is legitimate. It remains unclear if the probe, which has cost taxpayers over $4 million so far, has uncovered any new information on Benghazi.
Parents and teachers furious. Some of those parents taking matters in their own hands to try to get inside with the rest of those parents meeting with the East St. Louis School Board.
Nobody else is coming in. Now, they're denying the parents an opportunity to speak in the meeting now. So you have, it looks like 30 to 40 parents outside of the Board of Education now trying to go in and to find out what's really going on.
While the chaos continued outside, parents who were allowed inside voiced their concerns about the impact this strike is having on them and their families.
Why is it that you ask our children to meet the expectations of yours, but you don't meet the expectations of them?
We have a non-functioning board and disrespectful administrators, and I'm tired of it.
But the biggest cheers came for students who looked board members square in the eyes, pouring their hearts out.
I am sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, but to counteract that and continue my mind going, I have 3 jobs now. Where do I have the time for 3 jobs? I should be in school learning.
But with the strike well on its way to its 14th day, I asked Superintendent Arthur Culver, when will the strike be over?
Without a quality education, they won't have a bright future.
But you're touching on how it's going to happen, but the question is, when do you think this is going to end?
Again, I don't know. I can't give you a date. If I had that, I would certainly give it to you.
Negotiations between the district and teachers are set to continue on tomorrow. Authorities in Mexico say they just missed capturing the escaped prisoner known as El Chapo earlier this month. A Mexican official tells CNN they think the drug kingpin injured himself when he fell off a small cliff as authorities closed in, but his bodyguards helped him get away. Martin Savage has the latest.
He's Mexico's most notorious drug lord, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, and authorities say they're close to recapturing him. We've come to Mexico to try to get a sense of just how close, but it's not easy.
For security reasons, we have to keep a low profile because the risks we face include everything from corrupt cops to an army of drug cartel informants who are probably looking out for just about everything we do. So sometimes the video or the audio may not be quite as good as you're accustomed to because we're using less than traditional means.
The danger here is real. Last week, officials said they nearly had Guzman, cornering him near a town in the mountains of Sinaloa State in northwest Mexico. Exactly what happened isn't clear, but it was definitely violent. Reportedly, Mexican Marines swooped in from the air, getting so close to Guzman, he was injured in the frantic dash to get away. But he got away, much to government embarrassment. Locals tell a different story. They describe a less precise military strike, with helicopters raining gunfire indiscriminately down on homes, vehicles, and people. Guzman escaped from a Mexican maximum security prison last July, literally under the guards' feet through a mile-long tunnel. That isn't out of character for Guzman. Part of his drug lord success is due to his extensive use of tunnels to smuggle drugs into the United States.
There's a reason this search is so focused on the state of Sinaloa. It's a place where Guzman obviously feels comfortable, and it's where he was arrested before. At a house not that far away from here, and then brought to that high-rise beachfront hotel and kept there for a couple of days till authorities could arrange a safe transport back to Mexico City.
So for all these reasons, authorities believe they are close, and the area remains on edge. Everyone here knows it is an all-out effort to find the man called the most dangerous criminal in the world, who may be injured, desperate, and possibly cornered. There is a lot that could go wrong. Martin Savage, CNN, Sinaloa State, Mexico.
Thanks, Martin. On Wall Street, stocks dropped for the second consecutive day. Here's a look of stocks of local interest.
And like Willie Nelson said, blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. And that was the case for most of us today. But will we have a gray weekend coming our way? I'll have the full details coming up in just a moment on Newswatch. Please stay with us.
I support one student in college with a scholarship. Just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education. I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation. I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're giving back.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
And a pleasant and great evening to you all. Again, I'm Jeremy Ludeman, and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. Well, we had a fantastic day today here in Athens. 73 degrees, our current temperature. We have a rare wind out there, south-southwest. You don't usually see that often. At 8 miles an hour, dew point is at 40 right now. Humidity low, nice and comfortable out there. 29% relative humidity, very good for this time of year. And our pressure, 30.25 inches. Let's take a look at the almanac for today. Our high temperature at 74 degrees and our low at 34. Normal 65 and 43 for this time of year. And our record was at 85 degrees for our high back in 1953, and we had 24 back in 1992. Sun is setting as we speak, and the sun rose right around 7:45 this morning. Current weather conditions, as you see, look at all of this rain around the Four Corners region right now. This is going to provide almost 6 inches of rain to portions of the Panhandle and around Amarillo, all the way towards Oklahoma City. They're going to get a lot of rain in the next 48 hours. As you can see, this cold front, our next weather maker, is right over Chicago this evening, and that will progress towards us as we end the week. Overnight low is 49 here in Athens, 49 Marietta, 49 New Martinsville, and we're in the low 50s in the southern counties. Columbus at 53, that's normally because the skyscrapers in the taller cities are able to keep the heat in. As we look at that precipcast again for tomorrow, you see the rain is forming along the southern plains. There's that cold front. See it draped right over us. High pressure right over the Carolinas and the Tennessee Valley. That's controlling a little bit of the weather. That's keeping the environment dry. That means only a slight chance of showers and storms, and not what we would normally see. Also, this cold front is pretty dry. Tomorrow night, the cold front right over our southern counties. The low pressure system continuing to line up to our west. Tomorrow high, 75 across the board from Marietta down to Ironton on the banks of the Ohio. 76 in the apple capital of Jackson, Ohio. 74 state capital of Columbus. 73 Newark and Cambridge tomorrow. And here tonight in Athens we have 49. Patchy clouds. No rain to speak of, and we have an above average low south-southwesterly winds. And at the bus stop tomorrow, we've got 52 degrees, partly cloudy morning and southwesterly winds for us again in the morning, and it's really going to be a nice morning at the bus stop. Tomorrow, 75, sun and clouds, slight chance of afternoon rain courtesy of the cold front, light southwesterly winds. Here's the 7-day. 75 our high on Thursday. Tomorrow, we're going to have a wet weekend possibly. We've got a 50-50 chance on Saturday. Sunday, most of the rain chance in the morning, 64. We start out our new week on Monday with a high of 60, lows in the 40s for the weekend, 53 on Saturday, and then we go back down into the low 40s to start our new week. We'll now send it over to Clay Benjamin with sports.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hi, I'm Clay Benjamin. Coming up in sports, the OHSAA released their recent computer rankings, and some local teams are fighting for playoff spots. And an Ohio volleyball player is honored with a MAC award after a great weekend on the court. Those stories and more, next on Newswatch. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
My granddaughter is named June Elizabeth, but I call her Junebug. My hope is to teach her about kindness and about the love of animals and nature. I want Junebug to have the same opportunities I had by watching PBS. My husband and I feel so strongly about our PBS station that we've included them in our estate plan. PBS is part of our values, and we want to pass it on to the next generation.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back, I'm Clay Benjamin. There are only 2 weeks left in the high school football regular season, and there are plenty of local teams vying for their spots in the playoffs. Besides Division I, the top 8 teams in each region qualify for the playoffs. In Division II, Region 5, the Logan Chieftains sit in 7th after their second straight loss, and the Tri-Valley Scotties sit in 8th after the win over Sheridan. In Division III, Region 9, Jackson remains number 1 after their blowout win over Meigs. And with Sheridan's loss, they are now on the outside looking in as they drop from 8th to 11th. In Division 4, Region 13, Maysville jumps up to 6th, while the Bloom Carroll Bulldogs sit in 8th. In Division 5, Region 17, Zane Trace is still undefeated and in first place. Alexander is in 3rd after clinching the share of the TVC Ohio title, and the River Valley sits in 8th. In Division 7, Region 25, the TVC Hawking is well represented, as Trimble is number 1, Belpre sits in 4th, and the Miller Falcons are in 7th. On to the Bobcats. The men's golf team finished tied for 5th in the Maryland Terrapin Invitational yesterday in Rockville, Maryland. The Bobcats shot 14 over par in the second round after the tournament was stretched to 2 days after the first round was delayed due to frost. Sophomore Grant Angle and junior Ty Harriet led the Bobcats at 7 over par for the tournament, leaving them tied for 24th overall. Junior Peyton White had the most birdies for the Bobcats over the 2 rounds, but finished tied for 32nd at 8 over par. The Bobcats wrap up their fall schedule next week. Volleyball senior Abby Gilliland was named MAC Female Scholar Athlete of the Week this morning. She is the first Bobcat to win Female Scholar Athlete of the Week this season. Gilliland helped lead the Bobcats to wins over Ball State and Toledo and Conville last weekend. With those wins, the Bobcats have won 32 straight regular season matches. So far this season, Gilliland has 10 double-doubles and leads the teams in assists. The Bobcats are back on the court this weekend when they travel to Kalamazoo to take on Western Michigan on Friday. Today may be the Back to the Future day, where the famous movie predicted the Cubs would win the 2015 World Series, but Kyle Schwarber and the real-life Cubs have some work to do tonight in order to keep the dream alive. The Cubs will have to find an answer for Daniel Murphy. His 5th home run in 5 games last night led the Mets to a 5-2 win and a 3-0 series lead over the Cubs. Yoenis Cespedes and David Wright each had 3 hits, and Jacob deGrom continued the dominant starting pitching for the Mets, giving up only 2 runs over 7 innings. New York has a chance to sweep the Cubs tonight as Steven Matz throws for the Mets. Jason Hamill will try to keep the Cubs season alive tonight. First pitch from the north side of Chicago is at 8:07. And over to the American League, Kansas City jumped all over R.A. Dickey and the Toronto Blue Jays last night en route to a 14-2 win. The 14-2 score was the largest margin of victory by a road team in AL postseason history. The Royals have pushed 33 runs across the plate so far in this series. Game 5 is going on right now, and the Royals are currently losing 5-0 in the top of the 7th. The Royals will go back to the World Series for the 2nd straight season if they can pull out a win. I'm Clay Benjamin, and that's it for sports. Mackenzie, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Clay. And as mentioned, Back to the Future Day has finally arrived. In the movie Back to the Future Part 2, Marty McFly travels to October 21st, 2015 to save his children. The entire trilogy is being released today, so you can see for yourself. We may not have flying cars just yet, but the film did come pretty close with the prediction that the Cubs could win the World Series. We'll see if the Cubs can make it happen tonight.
And we'll see if we can make it back to the past, the recent past, with a 75-degree high. That feels like summer, folks, tomorrow. Slight chance of a shower tomorrow. That's because of a cold front. Thankfully, there's a high pressure down in the Tennessee Valley that's going to keep that chance slight. So a slight chance of a shower tomorrow night, 75. As you look at our weekend, it is looking wet. 50% on Saturday, 30% on Sunday, 72 degrees on Saturday, 64 degrees on Sunday, and our lows are going to be right around 50 degrees for the next 3 days, and then we cool down after this cold front moves through. Sunday, we're going to see our low at 41 degrees, highs right around 60 to begin our new week, and there's a look at our 7-day.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.